皆様、改めまして、本日は YAC ホールディングス株式会社主催、提携先ダイナスバイオテクノロジー社 CEO 来日会見へのご参加いただきまして、誠にありがとうございます。それでは、本日最初のステージプログラムへと参りましょう。提携先ダイナスバイオテクノロジー社 CEO 来日会見の主催者であります、YAC ホールディングス株式会社代表取締役社長、百瀬武文より皆様へのご挨拶申し上げます。百瀬社長、よろしくお願いいたします。
百瀬です。よろしくお願いします。座ってお話をさせていただきます。皆さん、こんにちは。皆さんにはですね、今日大変お忙しい中ね、おいでいただきまして、誠にありがとうございました。また、日頃、いろいろとね、ご指導をいただいておりまして、この席をお借りしまして、改めて感謝の気持ちを申し上げさせていただきます。本日はですね、先ほど司会者からお話がありましたように、精密医療のエクスポソールという事業があるんですよね。この事業の内容についてですね、お話しさせていただくんですけれども、CEO のね、社長もお見えになっておりますから、内容的にはこんなものであるっていう、こういうものであるっていうことをよく説明していただきますから、ぜひ皆さん、熟知していただきたいと思います。そのね、授業の中でね、当社は何をやるかということが皆さんとしては一番気になるお話だと思うんですけれども、当社はですね、まず機械を作らさせていただいております。この機械とはですね、実は当社4年ほど前にね、開発した指導機があるんですけど、髪の毛を縦に切る機械なんですね。この機械をですね、実は6月までにセミオート化してね、そして今年中にはですね、完全自動化する機械を作り上げて、この事業のメインのね、機械として使っていただくことが一つとですね、この機械のサービス、いろんなサービスが当然出てきますね。このサービスをやらさせていただくということと、それから、実は検査にはですね、いろんな消防士が出るんですよね。この消防士については当社から全てご入させていただくという事業が3つ目でございます。それからもう一つはですね、細かい内容は社長から説明ありますけど、毛を切って検査するというロイヤリティが当然あるわけですね。このロイヤリティいくばっかをですね、当社が頂戴すると。こういう内容がですね、当社の事業の内容であるということでございまして、一番ポイントは、これから社長に説明していただく、事業の内容、これをぜひ皆さん、熟知していただいてね、その熟知の中で、YC の役割をですね、ぜひ知っていただきたいということで、よろしくお願い申し上げます。以上です。
ありがとうございました。それでは改めまして、ダイナスバイオテクノロジー CEO、アニシュ・アローラ様、どうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you, President Moses. Thank you, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here back in Tokyo. I have visited Japan many times, and it's one of my favorite countries. And thank you, Mr. Mamose, for your hospitality. Over the next 30 minutes, I would like to share with you the innovations at Linus Biotechnology and also our partnership with YAC Holding. Before I start, thank you very much for letting me speak in English. I'm slowly learning some Japanese, and one day I hope to speak to all of you in Japanese. I want to share with you a very surprising fact about how precision medicine works. For many conditions that impact the brain, impact the gut, and other parts of our body, we have no biomarker. What means is that we have no test. Like for diabetes, we have a test, but for many conditions like autism spectrum disorders, there is no proper testing. So this is one of the major challenges facing precision medicine for diseases that are complex, like autism, like some gastric disorders, and some cancers. The reason for this challenge is that most of the past 20 years, we have focused on genomics. But as you can see from this data, Large parts of our health are not explained by genomics alone. In fact, the major component for many diseases is not in our genes. So I want to introduce this concept of the exposome. Essentially, what this concept says is that outside genetics, we can look at different factors. These factors can be outside our body, like various environmental factors, and factors inside our body. And when you combine these factors, we can better explain health and disease rather than just use genetics. So, that is what is the driving mission of Linus Biotechnology, that we want to transform the way complex diseases are diagnosed and treated. For us to achieve this vision, it is very important that we have partnered with YSC Holdings. YSC Holdings is a leader in mechatronics and automation. Linus Biotechnology is a leader in precision exposome medicine. So together we can bring our unique skills and accelerate the innovation that is needed in precision medicine. This picture was taken when President Mamose-san visited Linus Biotechnology headquarters in New York. I want to give you a little bit of history about the company Linus Biotechnology. It is a company founded through the Mount Sinai Hospital System, which is one of the largest healthcare systems in the United States. It was founded in 1852 and has over 8 major hospitals. I joined Mount Sinai in 2013 with prior appointments at Harvard and the University of Sydney. Since then, my team has grown and we have received a substantial amount of NIH US government funding for research. In 2020, we decided to launch our company, Linus Biotechnology, because we had made several inventions that were ready for the market. Our autism biomarker, StrandDx, was given FDA breakthrough designation by the United States government, and we also got CE mark approval in the European Union. Partnerships with global pharmaceutical companies. In 2022, we raised our Series A funding for $16.5 million US. We are expanding not just in the US, but in Europe and Japan. And in Japan, one of our main partners is YSC Holdings and President Moses. So let me share with you our vision. We are a platform technology, which means that we can achieve many different things with the same technology. For example, we can study different diseases. We can also work with pharmaceutical companies to do different clinical trials. We can also directly help patients through testing and diagnostics. And we can participate in identifying new drugs and new compounds for research. So this is the platform, but we want to expand in different countries, especially in Japan, in partnership with YSC. So Linus Biotechnology, we address multiple areas in medicine. Recently, we were covered in the Wall Street Journal for our partnership with Novozymes. As I mentioned before, we have FDA breakthrough designation as we spun out of Mount Sinai. And in the bottom, I'm showing the announcement for our partnership with YSC Holdings. So I want to share with you a little bit more detail. We are undertaking a clinical trial for a new drug on autism. We are also partnering with clinics in the US and the European Union. And we are studying other diseases like ALS, which is known as Lou Gehrig's disease in the US. So our future 5-year plan involves expansion in the US by opening 3 to 4 centers. One major center in Japan in collaboration with YSC Holdings, and one center in Sweden where they can service all samples coming in from Europe. We plan to analyze more than 1 million samples per year. So this is our projection for revenue expansion over the next 5 years. And an important partner in that expansion is YAC Holdings. In this next few slides, I want to share with you the details of the technology. So we take just one strand of hair. This is very different to blood testing. From that single strand of hair, we can detect thousands of molecular signatures. So here I'm showing an example where if we just did one blood test, we only get 1 point of data. But from a hair, we get up to 2,000 time points of data, all from just one strand of hair. So this is like doing 2,000 different blood tests. This is an example of the many different molecules that we can measure. So some of the inventions that we are making include hardware, which we are working with YAC Technologies on automation and robotics. And also our data science, which is unique because we create very large volumes of data. And we are running studies in about 10 different countries. And because of that, we can study multiple diseases at the same time. So our platform is not designed to study one disease, but many different diseases simultaneously or at the same time. And because of that, we have strong intellectual property. We have patents on many different conditions. I want to provide one example in detail. Here, I am going to discuss the details about autism spectrum disorder. And in Japan, about 3% of children now have autism, and it is increasing rapidly. In the United States and in Japan, it takes up to 4 years to get diagnosed with autism. With our technology, we can detect it as early as birth. It is the first technology that has gotten FDA designation to detect autism at birth. And because of that, now for the first time, we have a proper test for autism. This slide just shares the details of our multinational studies, including our study in Japan. Our test is very accurate. Overall accuracy is over 80%. There is a very large market for autism in the United States and other parts of the world. In the US alone, it is over $4 billion. I want to convey that Linus Biotechnology is not just a diagnostic company. We do many other things. I'm going to provide two examples of how we are partnering with pharmaceutical companies for clinical trials. Here is an overview of how we are improving clinical trials by providing novel biomolecular endpoints. And we can identify new drugs or new compounds, and here is one example. I want to conclude by just sharing the very large opportunity in the US and elsewhere in the world for such a technology. Just in the US, from autism up to other brain disorders, the total addressable market is over $100 billion. Finally, our big vision is that one day, every newborn child will be tested using the Linus Biotechnology platform. ご清聴ありがとうございます。Thank you very much.
次のプログラムをやらせていただきます。閉会のご挨拶。YAC ホールディング株式会社代表取締役社長、小野瀬恵よりご挨拶させていただきます。
皆さんどうもいろいろとありがとうございます。じゃあ単純に言いますと、経一本をですね、郵送でね、調査会社に送ればですね、それに基づいて調査して結果を出るということなんですね。従来だと病院に行って血を取って何かしなきゃいけない。これはもう全然違いますよね。 効率的であるし、要するに一般の人に言ったら簡単ですよ。そういう意味じゃね、私はいろいろと長いことを仕事やってきたのがまさに画期的なことじゃないかと思います。もう成功するのは間違いないと思ってますが、早く成功させてね、より多く社会に貢献していきたいというふうに思っております。今日は本当に皆さんお忙しい中、ありがとうございました。引き続き、YC をよろしくお願いします。ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。